What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. If you don't know who I am, that means you're new. I'm Mark. What's good with y'all? Go check out my other videos. Check them out. Check them out. But first, stay on this one. So, this is a very interesting topic. I don't think I've gotten to cover this yet on the channel. So, let's get right into it. You guys read the title. You saw the thumbnail. There is no beating around the bush. If I could only own 3 guns, what would they be and why? So, for starters, we're going to go with handguns because here's what I will say. Immediately, if I have to choose, it's going to be 1 handgun, 1 rifle, 1 shotgun. Completely. 100%. So, let's get right into it. We're going to start with the handgun, all right? While, yes, what I'm about to show you is not a Glock, but a Glock clone, I also do have the exact same version of the gun with Glock branding and all made by Glock. But it's just my carry gun, so I'm not going to take it out of its holster, clear it just for this video. No need to when I have this gun as well. A double stack 9mm Glock. Yes, I know there's a PSA dagger, so it's a Glock clone, not a Glock. Don't sit here and be like, oh, Mark thinks a dagger is a Glock. No, I don't. Again, I just don't want to go grab my Glock 45, which this is the great value version of, literally 17 grip, 19 slide. I don't want to go grab my Glock 45, clear it just for this video, but a double stack 9mm Glock, even a Glock clone as long as it actually takes Glock parts. Why do I say that? The Glock platform is pretty much one of the most reliable platforms on the planet. While yes, it can have malfunctions, it's not immune. You know what I mean? A lot of people, they seem to think that Glocks or even Glock platforms overall because, yes, it has kind of become more of a platform than anything at this point because of the fact that the Gen 3 patent expired a good while ago, which is, by the way, why you see so many Glock clones. But regardless from that, people seem to think that that platform overall is immune to malfunctions, which isn't the case. However, it is pretty hard to cause a malfunction with a Glock, or at least in any Glock clone, because it's just overall a very reliable platform. With double stack mags, you get a wide variety of options to choose from, whether, let's say in this case, I want the 17, I want the 19 round mag, I want the 24 round mag, I want the 31 round mag, I want the 33 round mag. For some reason, I want to go stupid and get a 50 round drum for it. Guess what? I can do all that because Glock is literally, I won't say the most customizable handgun on the planet, but I will say it has the largest aftermarket availability out of any handgun by far. I think everybody will agree with me on that. So that's just number 1 out of the way. Any double stack 9mm Glock, great choice. In my opinion, I would rather, if I have to choose between a model or a couple of models, it would either be the 17, 19, 19X, or 45. That's it. That's just my personal thought. But next, moving on to the rifle, you need an AR-15. I'm sure some of you guys knew that I was going to say it, especially because the majority of people who watch my videos do live in America. And I'll tell you right now, the AR-15, without a single doubt in my mind, is the most popular rifle platform in the country. But I don't think anybody's going to disagree with you on it, whether it's chambered in 300 blackout, 7.62x39, or just standard 5.56 or 2.23 like how it was made. Everybody has an AR-15. Whether you want to admit it or not, that's just simply the truth. Not to mention, it's a pretty reliable platform, a pretty accurate platform, and possibly, I won't say 100% yes, but possibly the easiest rifle platform to customize, like without a doubt. I feel like people often forget how easy it is to actually customize an AR-15. If it's something as simple as changing out the bolt carrier group or the charging handle, that takes 30 seconds. If it's something as simple as replacing the firing pin, putting a new one in, that takes about 45 seconds. You see what I mean? Like, if it's little things like that, you can have it done in less than a minute. If you need to drop in a new trigger, guess what? You can do that with the AR-15. Overall, I just feel like if I have to choose between 3 guns left in the world, and again, I know I'm going to choose 1 handgun, 1 rifle, 1 shotgun, I'm going to have to go with an AR-15 for my rifle. Preferably 1 with a sling, now that I've gotten a sling and know what it's like to have a sling on my rifle. I love it. But with that being said, moving on from the rifle, we have to go now to the shotgun. Now, I will say I think this might genuinely be the only one that I had to sit there and really think about. And I came to this conclusion after a couple of hours of pondering on it. And while, yes, for the shotgun, obviously, you have to go with 12 gauge. Whether people like it or not, yes, I know 12 gauge does have a good bit of recoil on it, but keep in mind the variety of rounds that you have with 12 gauge is unmatched anywhere else. But now what the real question is, okay, do we choose a semi-auto or do we choose a pump? Because let's be honest, I'm not going to choose a over-under or side-by-side. I'm not going to choose a breech action. I'm probably going to choose a semi-auto or a pump action. Everybody would have guessed that. Now, I sat there and thought about it for a good bit. And while I recently have been diving more into semi-auto shotguns, and I've become a pretty big fan of them. Don't get me wrong. You know, recently I've gotten to shoot the Benelli M4. Awesome. I've gotten to shoot the Spaz 12. Awesome. Yes, guys, the Spaz 12 I've gotten to shoot. But I think I have to stick with reliability. I have to stick with what I know best. And while I like the semi-autos, a pump action 12 gauge is definitely the way to go. And the reason why that is because they are extremely reliable. They are extremely durable, especially if you get something like I have right here, the Mossberg Maverick 88. And not to mention, if you get something like the Maverick 88, it's like $300 at most. You know, it's not an expensive shotgun. However, on top of the fact that the 12 gauge pump action shotguns, generally speaking, are not that expensive, they are just really freaking tough and reliable. They are durable. These shotguns are built to last, dude. So I think in this case, yeah, there is no other choice than to say a 12 gauge pump action shotgun is the best way to go in that aspect. Now, I'm sure some people are going to disagree with me on this. I'm sure some people are going to be like, yeah, well, I'd choose a handgun, rifle, and shotgun too, but just none of the choices you chose. I'm sure some people are going to be like, yeah, I don't need the shotgun, 2 rifles and a handgun. There might even be some people who are like, hey, yeah, just give me all handguns. That would be crazy. But regardless, go ahead and comment your thoughts down below on this, guys, because yes, I'm aware that this is my subjective opinion. There really is not going to ever be an objective truth on what the best 3 choices you should make if you only had to choose between 3 is. This is just my personal thought on what I think is best. But with that being said, y'all make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, hit that bell. When you hit that bell, hit all in. Whether or not you agree with me about my thoughts on what 3 guns I personally would choose if I could only have 3 guns, go ahead and comment your thoughts down below. Make sure to check out all my other videos. Y'all make sure to stay legal, stay safe, stay dangerous. Have a good one, y'all. Peace.